Welcome gamers to a very special episode on Gamers United. Usually we don't upload on Sundays, but I figured this is a good time to upload it, just so we can have a regular form of the continuation of the series that I'm doing at least. Speaking of series, this is going to be a multi-part Easter egg series. The game Smite. I promised a while ago it was going to be the last Smite video, but I couldn't help it but see a whole bunch of skins for the different gods and goddesses, and I said, you know what, this will make a fun video. So here we are. I'm going alphabetical order, so in the comments, please do not spoil what's going to happen next. But in the comments, you can tell me which ones are your favorite, which gods you would like to know more about, all that stuff. So, let's get into it. Our first hero is Achilles. He is a Greek hero, and he fought with the Trojans against the Spartans for the Trojan War. For those of you who don't know, the Trojan War was fought because Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera all went to this man named Paris and said, if you pick me, I'll give you blah blah blah. Hera says, if you pick me, I'll give you eternal youth or something stupid. Athena said, if you pick me, I'll give you eternal wisdom. And Aphrodite said, if you pick me, I will give you the most beautiful lady in the realm. At this point, this was Helen of Troy, who was already married to the Spartan king. So, after that, Aphrodite said, okay, you picked me. A promise is a promise. She whisked Helen away, gave her to Paris. They fell in love. And the Spartan king was none too pleased, so he declared war on the Trojans. The Trojans relied on Hercules to lead them through the war, and all's fine and dandy. He is famous for being nearly indestructible, and why we have a tendon in our ankle named after him. How did he become almost indestructible? Hera. She decided she liked Achilles, so she decided she's going to make him immortal. How does make a mortal immortal if you're not a demigod? Well, she just took him over the fire like some chestnuts, and she's like, oh, I burned you really bad. Here, let me help you with ambrosia ointment. Ambrosia is the food of the gods. If a mortal would eat ambrosia, they would burn up. Now, after she healed him with that, she went over to the river Styx, and she dunked him, dunked him right in that river, held him by the ankle. Now, because the river did not touch his ankle, he became vulnerable. That was his one weak spot. And of course, you know, Greeks, Romans, they did not wear shoes that covered their ankles like we do. They had sandals, so it was quite an easy spot. Now, that's why we have a tendon named after him, because if your Achilles tendon is torn, split, cut, injured in any way, shape, or form, you cannot use your foot until it fully heals. Now, if you get your Achilles tendon cut, your foot's pretty much dead. There's no using it. It's just there. It's just gonna just flop. So, to the skin, his skin is called Myrmidon, and he is clad in blue cloth and has brown hair. Now, in my gaming history, I have played a game called Rise of the Argonauts for the Xbox 360, and when you encounter Achilles, this is what he looks like. The next god, Agni. He is the Hindu god of fire. He is seen as the messenger between all the gods and the humans, as he can exist on 3 planes with different mediums. On Earth, he has a fire medium. In the air, he's considered lightning, and in the sky, he's the sun. I find it a little funny that the latter two mediums cause fires in an indirect way, because if lightning hits a dead tree, whoosh, fire. And obviously the sun is a big, huge, flaming ball of fire. So, there's that. His skin, Ice Mage, turns him into a 2-headed white walker, which is from the very popular TV show Game of Thrones. Umazin-Kab. He is the Mayan god of bees. Yes, bees. And ironically, in the Mayan culture, the bees that Umazin-Kab rules over are stingless bees. They don't hurt you, they just collect honey, do their thing, peace, I'm out. However, yet in the game, they want to destroy you in swarms of angry buzzing. His skin, Dark Whisperer, is an homage to Cthulhu, obviously way before the update. He takes on the form of Cthulhu, just not as big and not as tentacly. It's kind of like Davy Jones, tentacly. Going on with the Mayan rule, we go to Apuk, or Apok, whichever. He brings death and scares as he roams around the Mayan territories. He wasn't a kind king of the underworld, and you could find him wandering around where there were sacrifices or wars going on. He would meander on up to the surface, pick up some new bling for his necklace, and by bling, I mean eyeballs. He would go around corpses picking up the eyeballs and sticking them on his necklace. And it wasn't just the eyeball, it was the eyeball with the nerve, with the optical nerve attached. That's how he attached it to his necklace. Kind of weird. And it's ew. So, in his skin, Chilling Grasp, he becomes the Night King. He is the leader of the White Walkers, also from Game of Thrones. Woo! Here we go. First goddess Easter egg. Yeah, there we go. Amaterasu is a Japanese goddess, and she gives people the divine right to rule. That's how they figured, hey, I'm allowed to rule. Why? The goddess Amaterasu told me to. Okay, that's cool. As she is the daughter of Izanami, who's a playable character, and Izanagi, her husband. More on Izanami later, obviously. Now, her Easter egg is called Blake Belladonna. Now, she turns into a pale-skinned, long black-haired, cat-eared human. This skin is a non-comic representation of the character Blake from the anime show RWBY, R-W-B-Y. Blake is the protagonist Ruby's friend and teammate. Anubis, god of the dead in Egyptian culture. He has hands, feet, and head of a jackal, but the torso of a man. He judges your heart before you continue your journey to the underworld. If you led a life where you helped others and you were a decent human being, you'd be free to go to eternal life. If not, well, Anubis had a pet named Almet, and it would eat your heart, and you would condemn you to eternal restlessness. You would be sent in limbo for the rest of your life. Anubis' skin, Jekyll Tech, resembles that of Iron Man, with the red and yellow color scheme and the similarity in armor construction. When you go into the God selection and you select the skin Jekyll Tech, he is standing there, and more parts of his armor fly in and attach himself, just like in Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3. I think it was 3. Don't quote me on that, though. Ao Kuang is the Chinese Dragon King of the Eastern Seas. He has 3 brothers that rule the other cardinal seas. They are similar to the Four Winds in Greek mythology. Other than that, not much is known. The little Easter egg on his guy is his skin Dragon Knight. When you select it, he looks like the Dragoon class in the early Final Fantasy games, just in a blackish purple color. I think they got rid of the Dragoon class in Final Fantasy 6? 5 or 6, but it was very early. It was definitely before Final Fantasy 7. After 7, classes kind of went away. There was already predefined classes for your party that they had. You weren't able to change them willy-nilly, which kind of makes me sad. They did bring that back in Final Fantasy X, but this isn't about Final Fantasy. That's, no, not related, but if you want me to do some Final Fantasy Easter eggs, or just Final Fantasy Did You Knows, let me know, and I'll do a series on that, too. Aphrodite. She causes a lot of trouble. She started the Trojan War, as we know, by our Achilles, little tidbit. She is married to Hephaestus, but she has innumerable affairs with Ares. Talk about all's fair in love and war, right? She has a couple skin changes that are fun, but yet super revealing. Aphrodite's 90% of her skins are revealing. I mean, it kind of fits. Let's be honest here. The first funny skin I found was entitled Diva. who resembles Lady Gaga with the long white hair, the huge sunglasses, and the asymmetrical "don't cough too hard" tape outfit. The Oasis Djinn is her taking on the appearance of a belly dancer with an olive skin, so kind of like a Middle Eastern crossover. The Ice Queen skin has her looking like Elsa is going to the beach. Kind of classy, very classy. Her last skin is called Venus, and she has her more modestly dressed and with dark hair, representing how the Romans saw the goddess of love. Ooh. Artemis, my main home slice. I know whenever we're playing a new mode, pick Artemis because I know how to play her. She was my first diamond character. I just like her. So, she is the Greek virgin goddess of the moon and the hunt. Artemis loved the giant Orion, but he betrayed her, and she said, "Screw it, I'm out, I'm done, no more being a virgin goddess." She actually has a small little, I don't want to say little cult, but a little following. They are called the Moon Hunters, or just the Hunters, but it is a group of all girls, and they renounce all men, and they're all virgins, you know. That's the one thing you gotta be. Later in life, you know, you're like, you know what, I can't, you know what, this is what I want to do. I think she'd make an exception, but who knows. Either way, Diana is her Roman counterpart, but Diana is not a virgin goddess, so fun fact there. Artemis' skin recon resembles Black Widow from the Avengers, and her Moonlit Ranger skin resembles that of a dark elf from the Elder Scrolls series. Moving on to the bees. Woo! Getting there. Slowly getting there. Baba Yaga, the Slavic witch of the woods, the child-hungry witch that almost took Hansel and Gretel. She has a cauldron that makes potions that only sabotage the other team. Her elder Jinn skin makes her look like a nightmare fuel and genie from the Middle East. We have some crossovers over there, but yet we have no Middle Eastern pantheons other than Hindu, but they don't do genie stuffs. Bacchus, or Bacchus, whichever floats your boat. The Roman god of parties. Dionysus is his Greek counterpart, but Dionysus is a bit meaner. Bacchus can turn any liquid into wine and throw the wildest feasts. His skin Drunkyard makes him look like he came from the animated movie Robots, which released in 2005. Can you believe it? It's been 15 years. All these animated movies I grew up with, and they're over 10 years old. Holy hell. Either way, his other skin, Brynhildr, is a Norse crossover. Brynhildr, or Hildrún, take your pick. She is one of the most powerful Valkyries in history, and is showcased in the 2018 release of God of War as an optional boss. If you're gonna go do that, then make sure you're prepared. Again, she's hard. She's one of the toughest for a reason. The Baron Samedi is a voodoo god of the underworld. He makes a deal, but sometimes there's a twist at the end. Like when you go for a chocolate chip cookie, but it's oatmeal raisin. Those invaders are the reason I have trust issues. Either way, his Count costume resembles the Dracula represented in the Castlevania series. Again, Disney theory comes into play here since there is no Baron from The Princess and the Frog. I mean, he has the same voice and everything else, and his catchy song, Friends from the Other Side, you know, it'd be perfect for this. Bastet, the Egyptian god of Ketez, very agile and nimble. She was found around royalty as only the wealthy and noble could afford to feed these independent animals. Her little Easter egg is luminous, where she turns blue with a feathered tail, much like the people in the Blue Avatar movie. Not that terrible reimagining of The Last Airbender. That was absolutely terrible. Ong? No, it's Aang. Go buy the cartoon. They say Aang. Bellona, the Roman goddess of war. However, she is more technical than Ares, but more forceful than Athena. Her costume change, Rocca Bellona, turns her into the poster girl for the World War II propaganda. The other skin, Anarchist, turns her into Suicide Squad's Harley Quinn, easily noticeable with the large bat and pigtails. Cabrakan is the Mayan god of destroying mountains and causing earthquakes. Yay. Not much else is known about this destructive myth, but I'm sure Loki likes him. Why? Because the skinned fat Loki turns Loki into a huge destructive device instead of having to rely on wit and subterfuge. Gamma Slam turns Cabrakan into a blue Hulk with the nuclear/hazard update. I don't know why they didn't put in the actual Hulk, because they have other Avenger eggs in here. Pharaoh's Curse has Cabrakan wrapped in mummy bandages and sarcophagi lids as weapons, as is appropriate for an Egyptian crossover. Kamatots is the terrifying god of bats in Mayan culture. Fun fact, there's a book trilogy named The Vampire Plague, based on Kamatots getting free and taking over the world. Woo! Stone Sentinel skin throws Kamatots into the early Catholic days, where they used gargoyles to protect graveyards and churches from evil spirits. Cerberus, or as I like to say, Hell Pepper. He defends the gates of the Grecian underworld and judges each person. He sends them to either the fields of Elysium, or heaven, the fields of Asphodel, not limbo, but not heaven or hell. It's kind of like a, comfortable type of area. The fields of punishment, or hell, or Tartarus, the Titan's prison, or you done goofed. His pup patrol. Now, bear with me. The pup patrol is kind of cartoonish, but there is a Disney egg. Each color is the color of Donald Duck's nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, which is red, blue, and green, relatively. His other skin, Frostbite, shows a true chimera, where each head is a different animal and a snake. Now, a chimera has a bird, a lion, and and I believe a goat. The third head changes with every depiction, but there's always a snake tail. So, Cernunnos is the Celtic Pan, just meaner and more strict with intruders, and especially those that hurt the forest due to negligence. The Samhain skin is a homage to the Irish holiday, where they celebrate the end of harvest and the beginning of winter. Now, this happens in America's Halloween, where we celebrate the 31st as Halloween. However, their Samhain starts October 31st and ends the evening of November 1st, since it is a full day cycle. When he becomes a trait Kengu, the crossover with Japan starts. A Tengu is a flying demon and tries to mess up those that are following the Buddhist teachings. Finally, a true Disney reference, like full on in your face, not something tiny like the color of colors. The Cursed King turns Cernunnos. Oh, I'm having issues with ends today. The Cursed King turns Cernunnos into the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Now, my thoughts, they really need to bring Merida and the Baron into this. Shock. Go away. Pennsylvania doesn't need any more rain on the weekends. Go bother someone else. As the Mayan god of rain, he was a good guy, because without rain, there wouldn't be crops, and that was already a challenge being in super hot climates. However, he travels to America with the Skin Slaughterhouse, as he looks like the immortal teenage killer from the game Dead by Daylight. But then he goes supernatural with the Abyssal Executioner, and he looks like Cthulhu. Alright, I'm sorry. You can come back. Because you've traveled all the way over to the north side of the world and became an Ain Hayar. And Hayar are people that have died violently in battle or sacrificed themselves to save others and await the final battle of Ragnarok in the castle of Valhalla. Chang'e is a Chinese moon fairy. She had a habit of making people mad at her. She kinda broke the Jade Emperor's valuable vase, which her punishment was become immortal. She meets up with Hu Yi, marries him, and makes him mad by taking his immortality pill. He is an archer. Hu Yi is an archer, so he tries to shoot her down, but she ends up floating up to the moon instead. Oops. Well, when Chang'e becomes enchanted, she takes on the appearance of Cinderella, except has brown hair instead of blonde. Then she goes into space with Intergalactic and turns into a rendition of Princess Leia from Star Wars: A New Hope. So, cool on that. Chernobog is a Slavic demon that flies around. He is the Lord of Darkness. Sounds pretty explanatory to me. However, he decides the Russian area isn't good enough and travels to Japan, where he turns into an Oni, or a large, nasty ogre. And it's not Donkey. It's not Michael Myers ogre. It's I am going to tear you limb from limb ogre. Chiron is the Greek centaur that taught all the great heroes, other than Philoctetes. You can just call him Phil. His brother is Charon, the ferryman of the underworld. I bet family reunions are a blast. The fabulous costume change to Chiron is that he turns into a unicorn. Now, the color scheme and voice pack sound similar to Eli, who is a dateable character in the game Blush Blush Dating Simulator. Kronos, Father Time, Baby Eater. Take your pick. This Grecian titan was a piece of work. He ate all his children because he had a prophecy that his spawn would grow up, kill him, and become leader of the gods. So, he ate a whole bunch of guys' children, except one. He ate a rug that time. And fell to the hand of his youngest son, Zeus. In this game Super Kronos, the game devs made him look like he warped from the Nintendo 64 era. I miss those games. That was a good time. Cuchulainn is a Celtic man that took the place of King Ulster's dog and defended the castle with the strength of an entire army. Cuchulainn was also a demigod, hence his massive amount of strength. But he could die to an arrow, to infection, to food poisoning, just like we can. I don't know whose boyfriend he is, but when he rages, he turns into a huge red toad. But normally, he looks like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. My favorite is Beast Within, where he travels from America to London and becomes a werewolf. Puns, people. Gotta work with the puns here. Alright. We'll do one more, and then we gotta cut the video. Alright. Erlang Shen is the illustrious Chinese sage. He sees all with his third eye that sits in the middle of his forehead. He's a good guy, and he has good intentions, but unfortunately, he and his sister are the only ones that survived the Jade Emperor's attack on the Yang family. Shen's little Easter egg is called Monster Trainer, which is a nod to the 25-year-old franchise Pokemon. Wow, that's 25 years. I'm 25 years old. Damn. But I have to leave this episode here because it's getting a little bit long. But I hope you like this because I'm going to keep going. I think it's fun to share all the Easter eggs with you guys, just to say, hey, here's a little nod to this fandom and this fandom and that fandom. If I missed any Easter eggs, so battle sayings, victory, end scenes, defeat, end scenes, let me know down in the comments below, and I will attempt to play the god. I don't own all the gods, but I'm sure that they are all on free. They all get free rotation at some point or another. So if I find that, I will do my best to play them and get some end scenes for you guys, so I can kind of throw that up in a little after the epilogue of the Easter egg series for you guys. That way you can see them too. But thank you all for watching. I hope you're having a great one, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.